following presentation is the examination-based contact class 2018 presentation. It is for your subject crime prevention principles in your diploma of policing. The scope of this presentation will be my introduction, the aims of the contact class, why do we have the contact class, the structure of the examination, continuous assessment and the calculation of marks, examination preparation and tips, the course outline, and the conclusion. My name is George. Khwakup is my surname. I have a relevant degree of BTech degree in forensic investigation obtained with UNISA. My relevant experience in policing goes back 25 years, of which I have been in various portfolios. You're more than welcome to go through the introduction of myself, that is in the presentation, probably the first few pages. Currently with Bank of Namibia, the FIC. Thank you. Now we'll go over to the aim of the contact class. This presentation is to prepare you as students for examinations due in 2018, to make sure that you obtain the best possible or do well in your examination or assignments as well, to discuss examination structures and explain the continuous assessment, how it is calculated, and then give you a few tips. Now, when you look at the structure of the examination paper, it will consist of 4 main questions containing sub-questions. You may be required to answer 1 or 2 questions. An example, choose from question either from question 4.1 or 4.2. The total points will be 120. Questions are from the study guide provided by IOL. You may be expected to discuss, outline, define, list, or analyze and name the various questions that comes up. Mark allocations may range from 5 to 30 marks for the per question and sub-questions. Now, the continuous assessment, inclusion of this continuous assessment calculation is to make sure that you as a student take examinations very seriously and align your studies accordingly. The examination paper will be for 2.5 hours. That's 2 hours 30 minutes. It's a written examination of 120 marks. Your final mark, or the assessment would be your final pass mark of 50% is required, calculated at 60% of the examination mark and 40% of the continuous assessment. A sub-minimum of 50% must be attained in the examination. For example, if your assessment mark was 50 and the examination mark was 50, your calculation would be as follows. 40% of 50 equals 20, which is calculated at 50 times 40 divided by 100. And your examination mark will be 60% of 50, which is 30, calculated at 50 times 60 divided by 100. That will give you a final mark of 50. The examination papers, the setting thereof and marking are moderated. Now, during your examination, please make sure that you do the following and refrain from what is not being asked for you to do. Write clearly and legibly, structure your answers through headings and numbers and logical sequence. This is important because at times, if you are not asked to give a paragraph or write in a paragraph form, please ensure that you structure your answers through headings and numbers and a basic logical flow or logical sequence. Make sure that your student number and all details as requested are provided on the answering sheet, write in blue or black ink. Please ensure that you do not cheat because this may result in serious steps being taken against you. Also refrain from dumping relevant and irrelevant facts at the same time, as you may lose valuable points. Relevant and irrelevant means that people continue explaining. If you have a background of what you are asked to provide answers for, it may come through, but that should not overshadow your whole examination answer. So make sure that you have relevant facts and that you add flesh to it, but not the other way around, where you add more flesh of something that is over-explained and thereby ending up dumping irrelevant facts with relevant facts. Ensure that you do not take notes into or unauthorized documents, material, technical devices into the examination. Should you be responsible for irregularities during the writing of the examination, the head of examinations invigilator will collect your answering script and evidence. You will be requested to write an explanation. The answer script, evidence and declaration will be submitted to the irregularity committee for verification. No exam points will be allocated to you. You may be suspended for 12 months or 2 consecutive examination sessions. Please do not assist others. That's not your job. The invigilator will do that. If you happen to do that, there may be steps taken against you. Switch off your cell phone and leave it outside, wherever it is, or leave it, because there may be a slightest change that if you take the cell phone into the exam locale, that it may be on, and this may disturb others. You may not leave the examination room during the first 30 minutes or the last 15 minutes. A late arrival of 30 minutes will result in you be noted as no turn up at the exam location. The answering script and question papers remain the property of IOL. Please don't take them, don't remove them. Should you need additional paper to write on, please ask for it. It will be provided by the invigilator. Answers on any other paper than the answering sheet may not be considered for marking. Rough work may only be done on the question paper or paper provided by the invigilator. You must sign the checklist before leaving the room. Smoking and eating is prohibited. You may not. Do not dive. Please ensure that you do not start writing without first reading the questions, because you may have 2 questions for which their answer may sound similar. So ensure that you identify or know what you are going to answer where. Don't just dive into starting to write, because I know time is of essence, but make sure that you make use of at least 10 to 15 minutes to read through your document. For questions with 20 marks, write at least 1.5 pages and more, not half a page for 20 marks. Students fail to score good marks in examination due to this practice, because what you do is you write 20 things, only 10 is relevant. Now the 10 that you have given me is in the first part of your or last part of your answer. I may only be able to mark, or I may only be marking the first 10, because otherwise you would want me to search through all your questions, which is practically not impossible, because you're not only the person whose exam document is being marked. Now, going into the course outline, you would be expected to know the following. Discuss the theories of crime prevention. Under that caption, you would be expected to know crime prevention theory, crime pattern theory, identifying the target of crime prevention, responsibility for crime prevention is partially shifted to private actors, crime prevention strengths, informal social control. These are the parts that that I would want you to look at and understand and be able to write something on it. On critically analyze the definitions and descriptions of crime prevention. What is crime prevention? You'd be expected to be able to list what is crime prevention, definitions and descriptions of crime prevention, roles and functions of crime prevention. Crime prevention is a critical part of policing. Crime prevention in Namibia, preventative measures, aids of crime prevention. In example, the private securities, electronic equipment, media, neighborhood, etc. The United Nations and crime prevention, its guidelines for crime prevention, international support for the guidelines on crime prevention by the UN. Crime prevention is a lasting feature of the government. A permanent central authority is crime prevention. What are the roles of the government, for example, provinces, local authorities, the criminal justice system, what is the backbone of criminal justice system, police, prosecution authority, what are the roles these ones play? The court, the judge, magistrate, and the defense lawyer, they are role players. Correctional services, crime prevention against criminal justice system. Not always the solution. Crime prevention efforts are proactive, focus shifted from offender to victim. Namibian courts, the composition, and explain the crime prevention approaches and strategies, crime prevention program versus practice. What you need to look at is the classifying crime prevention approaches. An example, primary, secondary, tertiary approaches. Program versus practice crime prevention. The problem-oriented approach. The dominant crime prevention approaches, which is the SCP and the CPP11. Theoretical assumptions underlying situational crime prevention. How local governments can control and prevent crime. Strategies of crime prevention. Community policing. Identify the institutions through which crime prevention programs are delivered. There's a collaboration with other institutions of crime prevention. In example, families, schools, labor markets, etc. Influence of policing, relations with the public. What are the relations with police, witnesses, suspects? And in conclusion, please ensure one fact, one mark. Ensure that you retain one fact for one mark. Or it is actually simple. Look at what the point allocations are and what your contribution would be. Framework of examination, investigation requires that you know and understand all concepts, tactics, number your facts or use bullet points, avoid dumping irrelevant and relevant facts. This has been explained earlier. Follow the instructions closely. Use your best handwriting. Short questions may be included. And I'm wishing you the best with your examination preparations.